It's exactly 13 hours on the DOT, and my name is Josh Martin. Welcome to the Lunchtime Cafe this particular afternoon on Camnet TV. We are live on GoTV as well as DSTV and including our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV Zambia. Now, my guest this afternoon comes from the UPND Alliance in government, and he is here to answer to some of your concerns, dear viewers out there, and of course the questions that you, the viewer out there, sent through, and through our interactions, the concerns that you want the UPND Alliance in government to give answers to. And my guest comes from NAREP. He is the Secretary General, and I'm talking about Mr. Martin Mlenga. Mr. Mlenga, good to see you and welcome.
Thank you, and good afternoon.
Okay. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Mlenga. However, for many Zambians out there, or should I say the majority Zambians, it might not be a good afternoon because they are being load shedded. Let's begin. Issues that have to do with load shedding, Mr. Mlenga. We are hearing government saying that they were not consulted when it comes to tariff hikes, and hence the firing of the board chairperson, the ascending of the Director General of the Energy Regulation Board on forced leave, Mr. Mlenga. The public wants to know who appoints, for instance, the board of a parastatal like the Energy Regulation Board. You are familiar with these concerns, Mr. Mlenga.
Sure.
Let's kick-start the ball rolling on that aspect.
Okay, the issue to do with ERB and the board chairperson, together with the Director General. You see, government operates with systems, and we know that the board is put in place by the minister.
Okay.
He selects the name that for people that needs to sit on the board. So what is missing for us as NAREP is that there should be information that should be put bare to our people, because the board cannot misbehave, in inverted commas, to come up with tariffs that the minister that put them in place are not privy to. So we feel that in that regard, heads must roll somehow.
Okay.
Starting from the minister himself, meaning that probably he did not supervise them in the manner that he should have, because they sit, I would say, under that umbrella where they are appointed by him. So, as NAREP, we feel that there is need for more information to be available to our people, such that in future we do not have such kind of happenings where the board is said to be this side and the minister may be on the other side.
Okay.
Because these are things that will leave gaps to our people, and they will be suspecting, or they'll not be sure as to what exactly happened. So there is need for transparency in the manner that we are watching over these boards, because it's not the only board. There are many other boards, so the system still remains the same.
Okay.
So the supervisory role of the boards is embedded in the minister, and that's the ministry itself. So for us to find ourselves in such a situation, we feel there are gaps that we did not pay attention to. And we feel that now that we've realized that the tariffs were put without the knowledge of the minister and the government, I would say, there is need that decision, let it be reversed if it's not in the interest of our people. So we are looking forward to what step that needs to be taken.
Okay. Mr. Mlenga, covering you prior to 2021 as alliance members with the UPND, you assured the nation collectively that you are going to govern this particular country based on transparency in the way you handle public affairs. However, we have noticed that there has been concurrent inconsistencies that have been taking place. And I'm talking about statements that are coming from the PS, from the chief government spokesperson, and now we're being told that certain decisions that are being made government is not aware. Who is government, first of all? Let's start from there. Who is government?
No, government is you and I, but we have leaders that are put in place such that they are superseding on the affairs of this nation. In that vein, we have ministries responsible for agriculture, responsible for energy, responsible for mining, and all that. So government runs with a system. And in every ministry, there are people who've been there for some time. That's why we call them technocrats.
Okay.
And the politician, from the minister point of view, they are policy makers. Below that, or below them, they are technocrats who give guidance on how things are supposed to be run. In that situation, we expect that the technocrats will feed the policy makers, the minister in this case, to say this is the direction that we are going to take. And the minister probably, or the ministry's spokesperson, will give information to the public. What is just important to note is that government is a system. And because it's a system, there is a way in which they need to collaborate in terms of who relays the information, at what time, and to who. That's quite key. And we feel that, yes, there could be those mistakes.
For how long, Mr. Mlenga? You have been in government for 2 years, 7 months now, if my counting is correct.
Yeah.
How long should the people of Zambia wait till you put your house in order? Surely honeymoon period is over.
For sure.
Mr. Mlenga.
For sure.
It's time to work?
Of course, you know, when you're working with people, you'd expect things to work nicely, smoothly, because we are human beings. And there will be times that things probably will not work as expected. But the good thing is that at all times, we should minimize situations that will make us probably error, because it's about the people. At the end of the day, we are looking at how do we serve our people better. People's expectations from us who are in government and all of us who are politicians is to see to it that their lives are being taken to where they're supposed to be in terms of expectations. And we feel that the mandate that we've been given, 5-year period to which we need to run the affairs of this country, the expectations of our people are very high. And we need to make sure that we deliver to the expectations of our people. Because at the end of the day, we still go back to our people. Politicians by nature, we are servants of the people. And the people expect of us to do the best for their lives. And I think that as government, or people that are in government that are serving day-to-day activities of government, there's no one that can go into government and want to see the people that he is serving to suffer. I think everyone knows that they're in government to save the people of Zambia, and everyone knows that they're in government to make people's lives better. So the pain that we feel as masses, that's the pain that they feel.
Are you sure, Mr. Mlenga?
That is the fact. Take, for instance, the issue of mealie meal. If my neighbor is complaining that mealie meal is expensive, it does not exempt me from making it cheaper. All of us will still feel the same pinch. So ultimately, government would want to find a way to make commodities available. I know there's so much talk about the cost of living and how it's beyond the reach of many and all that. Government is there to make sure that they work to make our lives better, to alleviate probably the burden that our people are finding themselves into. And how is it government responding? Government is saying, let's have probably means to which we can make probably mealie meal cheaper. Let's engage ZNS. Let's see how they can also go into the production of mealie meal to create competition. We are living in a liberalized kind of economy, and we expect that ZNS will not be the only players. Other players will also come in. But if they put the commodity at a cheaper price, those also who are in the private sector will also want to compete with those that are selling at a cheaper price.
But Mr. Mlenga, just there, why do I feel like you are firefighting or shooting in the dark as a party in government, as UPND alliance in government? Why do I feel like you are firefighting? Because I'm taking you back to
maybe the best term to use is being responsive.
No.
You know why I say that?
No, and I'm going to ask you.
Any government that sees its people finding themselves in a problem, government must be able to act on that problem. So leadership is about being responsive. If you're not going to be responsive, then you're not in leadership. It's like, for instance, there's cholera. Even if government was to say, we've set such kind of money for irrigation, I'm just giving an example.
Okay.
But here comes this situation. And they say, let's put resources to cleaning these drainages, let's put money into making sure that we buy drugs for cholera. That's being responsive. So the firefighting thing, I think it's not there. The government being responsive to the needs and demands of our people. Okay.
So allow me to quantify my question, to qualify my question rather. Prior to 2021, Mr. Mlenga, we saw calculations being made. We saw there's a clip that is making rounds right now on social media where the Patriotic Front, the past government, during load shedding, they were planning to increase electricity tariffs. Then the president now, when he was in opposition, he made mention during a radio interview that it doesn't make logical sense for a party in government to load shed its citizens, then begin to plan on increasing electricity tariffs. Fast forward, we are in 2024. The UPND have increased electricity tariffs while they are load shedding the Zambian people, and they intend on increasing the hours. In some areas, it's 12 hours of load shedding. I have experienced that personally.
Yeah, sure.
Now, the very thing that the president spoke against in opposition, it's the very thing that is happening under his administration. This is what I'm saying. Are you firefighting, or you are reacting or responding to these challenges that the citizens are going through, Mr. Mlenga, proactively? Because these are the things that you spoke against.
No,
you have met them head on. How are you sorting them out?
Yeah, you know, I feel what any other Zambians feel about what we're going through in terms of load shedding and all those, because we live in the same communities. So be it a minister, be it a councillor, we feel the same pain in terms of load shedding. But the question is, what's the background that has made us find ourselves into this situation? I think people of Zambia do understand that load shedding is not as a result of probably negligence on the part of ZESCO or yet government. It's been as a result of poor rain pattern that we've had. So, because we are so much dependent on hydropower, which is water. So now that we don't have enough water, so there is, as a result of that, we find ourselves into this situation.
Okay.
So now, the question is, to have a little or not to have at all should be the question. I think government would say, let's have a little than not having anything at all. If we deplete the little that we have and not have anything, then where are we going as a nation? So under the circumstances, the little is better than not having anything. I'll give you an example of a surgeon where we have a situation where someone has been bedridden for a long time. And now, because of that situation, there is need for them to just do some surgery. And as a result of that, they find, hey, let's remove this growth. Let's remove this. Let's also remove this. Let's also do this. There's so much pain that that person will go through. And Zambia is going through a surgeon kind of a thing, economically. And as a result of that, there's so much pain. But let me just finish this illustration. I want to finish this illustration. We are coming from a background where the economy and our colleagues was artificial, because the money that was flying around was a result of so much money that we got in terms of loans, and we pushed into our infrastructure. And that in itself, infrastructure development, isn't a problem. But how did they dispense that money? You find that where we're spending, let's say, 5 million, The previous government would spend maybe 50 million. We had fire tenders exorbitant in terms of pricing. We had,
but that has been cleared by the courts of law.
That's what I'm saying. There are certain things that we need to look at as a nation, where even you yourself and our viewers out there will tell you that this pen that you have in your hands can never be 10,000 kwacha. These computers that the government was procuring can never at all cost be $6,000 or $300,000. Now, because of that kind of recklessness that we saw, the coming in of this government, I think for me, I feel sometimes some of the situations that we're finding ourselves in as a spillover of what this government has found themselves into.
Okay.
The debt burden, which I feel we did anticipate that maybe in the first 1 year, we will have gone over that. It took us almost 2.5 years to have our loans restructured. So all this period was a period of wanting to find a solution to how we're going to stand as a country economically.
Okay.
Now that this has been done, we expect now to see now people having to benefit from this debt restructuring process this year moving forward. Such that by the time next year or going into the election, we say at a time that we did restructure our debt, the benefits that have come to this nation are this. We saw more money being put into social sector. We saw more money being put into this sector. We saw more. Then our people will now have the ability to judge, to say,
okay,
from this checklist, like Mr. Simo put it, from this that you had promised, how have you fared? At a count, maybe 1 to 10.
That's in the next 1 year, 5 months.
Yes,
right?
at 1 to 10.
Okay.
They will say you've had 4, you've had 6, you had 7. Then the opposition will as well be given that opportunity to sell themselves to the people. Then the people will be given an opportunity from what these that are in the government are saying, from what these are promising us, what do we have to go for?
Okay. Mr. Mlenga, let me put you on the spotlight. Yes or no? If, for instance, the people of Zambia today, if the constitution allowed, we go for an election right now with the current status quo, would the UPND government, would the UPND alliance government be able to become victorious from that particular election if elections were held today?
I think these are assumptions because we may not know standing against who and who that candidate be.
With the current crop of opposition political parties,
those dynamics are not at play because we may not know. Probably if, let's say, there are alliances, one party standing, the 50% plus one dynamics at play, or how they fare, what kind of promises would they make. It does not literally mean that if someone is complaining. I think even the PF did find themselves in that kind of a situation where they thought anyone that was complaining, they were saying new PND. Anyone who was complaining, new PND. That's not how politics are done. People are given choices based on how they would gauge each and every political
and it's
party.
good it's coming from you because that's the notion, that's the perception out there that whoever asks critical questions, whoever complains about the current economic situation, then they are being sponsored or massaged by the opposition. It's good that it's coming from you as a partner. Let me throw in this question once again, Mr. Mlenga. You talked about a surgeon. But this surgeon, in form of the UPND alliance in government, was sent a medical history of this particular patient known as Zambia. And after having interrogated this particular medical report, the surgeon known as UPND alliance, now in government, said we have a solution
to giving these patients.
Yes. If this person needs to take coartem
aspirin
or whatever. Yes. And after having examined that particular medical history, you came to the people of Zambia, and the people of Zambia said, please fix our patient. And you said you are equal to the task. Why are we getting excuses now that you are in government? Why are you telling citizens out there to embrace the fuel increment, to embrace the ZESCO tariffs, then barely 48 hours you flip-flop and tell us you are not aware about the ZESCO tariff increment. What is really happening?
And I think with the illustration that you had given, when you are making even just like a projection that you're making to say, in business I want to push in 10,000 kwacha, that I can have 12,000 kwacha. Factors remaining the same. Now, what is it that has changed between that time and this time? The anticipation of many that we had was that the extent to which the debt was, it would be rescheduled or restructured within a short period of time. Those are parameters at play.
Okay.
That, I would say, medicine, the drugs that were at play. If this drug called the debt restructuring is done within 3 months, within 6 months, this injection will recuperate this patient of ours once this drug called debt restructuring is put in place. The other drug could be if the investors that needed to come into the mine would come and push in this injection that will make this economy start booming. But when you go there to this patient who is in ICU, you realize that the drug called restructuring had to take a period of time because of a lot of things. We need to get engaged into the lenders and how they needed to restructure it. We have capacity, and though others not giving us in good time and all that. So there are these things that were at play. And on top of that, the main, I would say, earner in terms of money in this country was the mine. And we saw that almost all the mines were really down. It's only now that we are hearing, oh, in Luansha, mine number bala isola. In Kitwe, our Mopani bala isola. So we expect things to start changing. But this obviously not happen overnight. We saw how the councils were given a lot of money by the mines through rates and everything. They started paying those retirees, those employees that were not getting paid. In Kitwe, yes, using Mopani through the money that was paid by the people taking over the mine. So there are these things that are at play that are very important. But in terms of timings, probably they've taken long. And we want our people to bear with us that certain things have happened at a time that we thought could have happened earlier. But the good thing is that at least we are seeing things happening. We had lost investor confidence because of the high corruption levels. But now, corruption is being fought. And talking about corruption, we saw how people that literally owned bicycles, to owning flats, to owning automobiles, to owning buses, to owning almost anything.
Is it wrong for an ordinary Zambian to own a chopper?
For as long as it's legit. But if you own that chopper without having to explain how you got that chopper, how then do you explain that? You see, the majority of our people, some of them are our friends. We can't just mention them on TV. We know where they are coming from.
Okay.
No one can cheat to us. It's been politics for some time. Tuwaenda na upamakasa, na majinga wambite wakwete. I support a man under 20. How then do you explain it?
Okay.
You calculate how much they've been getting. If some of them were saying they were in business, are they not in business now to throw out the money the way they were dishing it out? At every juncture they would throw 10,000, 5,000. Why are they not throwing that money now? Because they were saying they were in business. Where is that business? So our people, I think, know what is expected of us as politicians. And they saw the country to the direction to which we are going under the PF. But get it right.
Okay.
There are people that just said, PF, whatever it takes, they must go. Cadarism. We saw how people were being attacked by virtue just wearing a red t-shirt. You get the point. Okay. So these are things that the people of Zambia said will not continue.
Okay.
Let's have normalcy in the way that we do politics. It's rare now that you'd hear that someone was on a studio like we are. A cat that opens the door and starts beating probably me. Those things are of the past. So the people of Zambia have got expectations. The only thing that now we expect to see is to see that the economy does improve.
Okay, awesome. Now, Mr. Mlenga, I've taken down of the things that you highlighted. You talked about the system. Why is the system seemingly failing under your reign as the UPND alliance in government? Why is it not responding to you as a party? Seemingly not responding to you as a party. Claims have been forwarded, allegations have been made that the system is seemingly not responding to you as an alliance party in government. Examples will be given. Number one, the president is on record, President Hakainde Hichilema, to having said that there's too much bureaucracy in the way things are run. And he talked about paying attention to the outcome and like the process. Okay? Number one. Number two, we saw recently NIMA being taken to Ministry of Health. Then NIMA issued a circular that some benefits on the NIMA package were removed. 48 hours, a statement was issued by from the minister saying that obviously government wasn't aware of what was happening, so now that circular needs to be reversed. That statement needs to be rubbished. Number three, ERB, Energy Regulation Board, goes ahead, increases ZESCO tariffs. They have been in consultations for some time. According to media reports, they were suggesting they are going to increase by 9%. That decision is made. Chief government spokesperson holds a press briefing, tells the nation that government was not aware of what the Energy Regulation Board did. The PS also information tells us that they were waiting for the Energy Regulation Board to put their house in order before they could issue a statement and know their position. Where are these inconsistencies coming from? Are we experiencing system failure under your reign as the UPND alliance in government? Mr. Mlenga.
Okay, you know, there are two things for me at play here. Number one, there's so much information that people are able to receive now. So it talks about transparency. Because people now know what is obtaining. Now you can imagine if people did not have an idea of what is happening, then there's going to be like secrecy in the way government is doing things. But when you see government comes out to say this did not work probably as expected, for me it's good and bad, but on a bit, for me it's good in the sense that it talks about having to make sure that people know what is obtaining. Because sometimes you find that in government things will just happen under the carpet and they'll handle it and everything. But if they come out and speak, for me it talks about transparency. And also if they speak the language of the people, because they are there for the people. For me it makes sense. Because they are speaking what resonates with the people. Because they have realized that probably the tariffs at a time like this one, when people are still grappling with issues to do with fuel, like the minister would put it, before they recover from that shock, this other thing comes up, we're making our people probably stressed. Why can't we find a way that will probably alleviate?
But on the contrary, you as government, as an alliance party in government, talking about stress, the Minister of Community Development is on record having been reported in the media that she's saying citizens are stressing you as government.
I would not speak for her, but if that was
such sentiment, she said it, yes, it's on record. Yeah, it was carried out in the news diggers as a headline.
Yeah, that's such sentiment. I think if they were coming from a minister, I don't know from in what context that she had put it, but just in general.
She was telling our mothers that they should be able to be on family planning.
Because this is information.
Because they're having kids.
No. Let me just put it into context. In this kind of reporting, we did not know what those women were saying. We got it from what the response was. I might not be privy to to what this other party could have said to this minister.
Okay.
Because what we got
Let
was
me not
just a
put you on the
response.
spotlight, Mr. Mlenga. Let's put that aside.
Yeah.
However, it's in public domain. Mr. Mlenga, you talked about collaborative. Are you, as a party, as an alliance party in government, making collaborative, coordinated efforts? Are ministries talking to each other? Are parastatal bodies responding to their parastatal heads or boards effectively? I'm asking this because there have been allegations that, for instance, if one is a director general and one is a board chair, they were all appointed by the same individual and they report to the same individual.
Yeah, sure.
So sometimes you find that the board has got no control over the director general, because where the board reports, that's why the director general also reports, because he was appointed by the same individual. Mr. Mlenga, are we in a management crisis as a nation?
No, not at all. I think there's a way in which reports are to be rendered in terms of who should report to who and how they should report. I think in corporate governance, we know that the board supersedes the director general of that institution. The only thing that the director general does, the day-to-day activities of that organization. But in terms of policy and direction to which this organization needs to take, is spearheaded by the board.
Okay.
And
Mr. Mlenga, can you hold your thought? We do have a caller. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Please come through and call us. We have Mr. Mlenga here.
So,
Can you continue?
so this is how it's done. And there's no way this DG can move and go above the board. That's an anomaly.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's an anomaly.
What is obtaining
now,
on the ground, Mr. Mlenga?
those allegations-
Mr. Mlenga,
Okay.
what is obtaining on the ground is totally different. That's the way it's supposed to be, and that's the practice, and that has been the practice. But what is currently obtaining on the ground is something different.
Yeah, I think this is one isolated situation that we want to generalize.
Under your administration.
We want to generalize to what is obtaining everywhere. It's like wasasa ngafika mwaka luvana kabola oh kwete amameda 50. Ati amameda mbaya nashwa. Let's pinpoint to say in this particular situation, allegations have come out as so and so and so that we can deal with that. Specifically, and we cannot say the system has collapsed. That would be an overstatement. So what is obtaining is that
signs and symptoms are there.
No, but obviously we will not say this is how a person will
of
die.
this patient who's in ICU.
No.
And living
even a St. John, Africa, people at the people they do for it.
Mr. Mlenga, dear viewers, you can kindly come through and obviously take part in this particular discussion. Mr. Mlenga, you talked about the expectations as well. Are you meeting Zambians' expectations? And I'm asking this question because of the promises that you made pre-2021 or you being elected in office as an alliance government. Are you meeting the majority Zambians' expectations, Mr. Mlenga, in all honesty?
Yeah, I think the expectations are very high on this government, especially that we are coming from a system that was really broken down. And because of those high expectations, this government is responding to these expectations within this period of 5 years. Number one, there's the issue to do with for instance, free education.
Okay.
We are not talking about it because it's happening. It's one of the things that made the UPND win an elections. To say we're going to provide free education. We're also talking about issues of having to pay retirees in good time. People are not talking about retirees because retirees are being attended to in good time. We saw how Tazara workers had lived, some of them 17 years, 21 years without having to be paid their money. This government cleared them. Indian workers stayed for a number of years without having to be paid anything.
Okay.
It was creating a situation to our people. Say, oh, people are not being paid. Abantu balala para Ministry of Justice, those things have been attended to. But you know, like any other human beings, and what is only happening that people are talking about is the cost of living.
Okay.
Cost of living is what people are talking about. But with this debt restructuring,
do we have a caller? Mr. Mlenga, I think we do have a caller.
Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, we seem to have lost our caller. Please call us back. You can
so
continue.
I was saying, yes, the expectations were high from our people. And the government has responded to many of those expectations. But there's still more that government needs to attend to.
Okay.
And within this 5-year mandate,
1 year, 5 months, according to a political calendar.
yes, we did not say 6 months free education within the period. So within this period, we expect that when we'll be going back to our people to ask them to vote for us again, we'll be telling them, this we've done, this we did not do. And why we did not do, and why we are appealing that we give us another chance, could be, these are the reasons. Then there will be others that will be saying, you'll not be able to do it. The people of Zambia will ask, can we trust the other person? We are living in a democratic country.
Can we trust you? Can we trust you to give you another mandate? The minister, the information minister has been on record saying that there is no opposition and UPND will have it easy in 2026. Can we trust you again to administer over the affairs of this country?
I think I would disagree with the minister a bit.
Okay.
But agree with him on the other side. The opposition, me I've always said, and I always say this, opposition political parties take which Shairo's stadium with you. If we were UPND, NAREPU, ADD, CP, take which Shairo's stadium.
Okay.
Because we are few. So ultimately, like the president did mention, it's about the Zambian people. So when we go to appeal, we are going to appeal the Zambian people. We are going to appeal to DP or to CF or whatever political party. We are going to appeal to the Zambian people. So what is important is how are we responding to the people of Zambia. If you have opposition, it's just, for me, it's coming third or fourth in my, when I'm thinking about elections.
So your biggest opposition are the Zambian people?
As what, not really opposition. Ultimately, we want to work for the people of Zambia.
Okay. Let's come to the people of Zambia, your masters,
Yes.
Mr. Mlenga. With the responses that some government officials have been giving or to the citizens, for instance, embrace the fuel pump prices, the increased fuel, that number one. Number two, I talked about the stressing issue, but we'll put it aside. But the responses are synonymous with what was happening in the PF when citizens queried load shedding. Then they were told, if you do not believe us that the water levels are low in Kariba Dam, do us a favor, go out there and pee in Kariba Dam. You heard those statements coming from the Patriotic Front. Some sections of society are throwing in theories that you are also headed that way of responding to citizens as if you don't care. And the way that is being forwarded out there is your government is becoming stubborn and arrogant.
About having to become arrogant, I think these, we are in politics. People respond to situations based on who is asking them.
Okay.
And by nature, human beings are defensive. So you might find the person that asking you probably is asking you to mock you and not to give advice. I think this is one thing we need to learn in politics.
Okay.
Politics is about giving alternative ideas. When we say the other guys are giving checks and balances, they must come out in a way that is giving solutions. To say this route you've taken is not correct. how we feel about this direction is XYZ. Why not try this route? And the people will listen. Because when people listen, then we are helping ourselves. Arrogance, especially us as NAREP, we feel arrogance is not a good thing. Last time I was on a program, I was talking about whatever I charged Fimba Opoki. Me, I said if they were in our party, I would have disciplined them. Because you can't be telling Yabantu what Mulenya Mulela for what? You can just tell them this government is doing this, and this is how they are doing it to help our people. Because at the end of the day, we are all Zambians. And whatever that the government do is for the betterment of all of us.
Regardless of the political
party. If the minimum is put at 120, whether I'm NAREP, whether I'm PF, whether I don't vote, I'm Catholic, I'm Jehovah's Witness, we're going to buy that commodity at that price. So I think there must be time for introspection. Decency is very important in politics. If you are decent enough, actually people will listen to you more than when you want to come out in a manner that shows that you put yourself in a position. We need to listen to our people. And it's a call, I think, for me, to the UPND functionaries. They need to reach down, come down to the people. Starting from the UPND Secretariat, the UPND membership, from the wards, the section, the constituencies, let them go back to the people. Let's not leave the talking or the mobilizing of this party in government to just maybe the Secretary General, to the President, to the party spokesperson.
But this alliance in government told us, Mr. Mlenga, you told us as an alliance party in government that the running of government and the running of the Secretariat is totally different. I don't know why you're getting those political theories, but that's what you said, that government, the way it runs, the way you are running it is totally different from the party. So the party is separate, let it do its own things, and government will do its own things. I was thinking the party feeds to government on what is currently obtaining on the ground, the challenges that the people are facing on the ground. Do you feel that this government, your government, alliance government, has detached itself from the realities, challenges that the Zambian people are currently facing, Mr. Mlenga?
I'm not saying having to say government must be run by political functionaries or political structures. What I meant to say is that government and the party, they move hand in hand.
But they said...
And why do I say this?
But
let me finish.
In the beginning, they said the party run independently and government run independently.
Let me finish how the independence of these organs does come in.
Okay.
Why I'm saying this is that a party, to sell itself to the people, to go into government, there's a party manifesto. That's how come a party, when it's going to campaigns, they are saying 2021 to 2026 manifesto, these are the things that we want to do when we are voted into government. The only thing the president did mention was to politicize the system. That is where the separation is coming from. To depoliticize how government is supposed to run. It's in that context that he put it that the parties must not indulge themselves into how the system needs to operate as government. But ultimately, we know that the party that is in power is the UPND Alliance government. The aspiration that they have through the party should feed into how the government must run. So, what are we saying here? We are saying let's depoliticize government, but the parties should still run. That's how come I'm saying when the party that is in power gets to understand how government operates, these party functionaries are the ones that need to go to our people in their structures, be it the branch, be it the sections, be it the wards, being the constituencies, to interpret the very thing that government wants to implement. Free education, CDF being up to 30 million. How does the party and its people operate to help our people?
Just there, Mr. Mlenga, how are the party functionary is going to conduct their duties of selling the party when there is a general feeling within the file and rank of the UPND alliance in government on the party side that the foot soldiers have been neglected. Opportunities have been given to individuals that joined the UPND at the 11th hour, that came onto the bandwagon at the 11th hour. They are holding ministerial positions, they are spokespersons, they are PSS, and there is a concern that the true reds have been put aside and the partially red are now enjoying the fruits of the true red. Mr. Blank.
Me, I've been in politics for some time. I've been a branch chairman, I've been a ward official, I've done politics at constituency, now Secretary General. I understand politics from the grassroots. I think I can be proud of myself because I'm different from these that just become probably up there. They don't understand politics of the grassroots.
Okay.
What am I saying? What I'm saying is that our people would feel that others are being given privilege than the others. But one good thing I'll tell them is that when you are in opposition like the UPND had been, anyone that joins to help you win the battle, regardless at what time they join in, they are pushing you to getting to where you're supposed to be. Because that one person and that two individuals that joined you, they would matter on the 50% plus one, because they are also voters, and the people they are talking to also vote. So that in itself is okay, for as long as they joined in opposition. The only people me have problems with, that bemba, there is a bed that when you plant like millet or groundnuts, they would come and pick after you've done the shan. For me, I would not shy away to say I've got problems with them.
Okay.
And the reason is just that. Because they've been in ruling in perpetuity. When I'm ruling, it's when I'm politics, I'm ruling. UPN is supposed to have memo. Some of us find it difficult to trust them.
But you've told us, you as politicians, that there is no morality in politics.
No.
And there are no permanent enemies in politics. Only ideologies that are the ones that differ. I might be your enemy today, Mr. Mlenga.
I'm not talking about enmity.
We are ruling. We're in the same...
I'm talking about having to fight for a common cause.
Okay.
When you're fighting for a common cause, I would need not to look at we show you we show you international bender. We are fighting for a common cause.
Okay.
When we joined the UPND battle to remove the PF, there were people who are telling us, who are now more UPND, who are telling us that
but you've allowed them.
For me,
they are not giving you instructions. They are now your bosses. You've allowed
from
them.
the narrow point of view. From the narrow point of view, I'm speaking as Secretary General of NAREP.
Yes.
How we feel as a party.
Okay.
I would say that it's very difficult to trust them.
Do you feel neglected?
Not at all.
As NAREP, do you feel neglected?
Not
in the alliance?
No. What I'm saying is that it's very difficult for people to trust. Bakatete mwenda mwalimwa. Baba for kwisa yanga mwalima mwabyala. So you know that there's that concern, Mr. Mlenga. Because I'm in politics.
You are a politician, Mr. Mlenga.
And I understand the politics of the grassroots. So when they are complaining,
so there's that discontent from the grassroots, right?
There is that concern.
Okay.
There is that concern from our people, and some of them are legit, because even you, station manager, you mean experience in Shwete. Where is Mr. Mlenga? Where is he coming from? Let's see him fail. Program when I fail, you get the point. So I think it's a concern that is somewhat genuine.
Okay.
That some of our party functionaries, we need to listen to them. those of us are in politics. You know, I'm trying to mean wakuchoma, nganare point to me. I need to pick that call. Ngawaku Western Province for province trying to mean a phone. I need to pick that call. Because how will I be Secretary General when the chairman in Western Province is Shilandaponankwe? Our councillor in Lumezi in Shilandaponankwe.
But your officials rarely pick journalist scores. And this is coming from a survey that was undertaken not once, not twice, where it has been discovered that it's very difficult to get government officials to come to programs like these ones and be able to exculpate themselves. Mr. Mlenga.
For government, I may not know their schedules and how they are operating, but I'm talking from a politician point of view. Those of us are in politics. I think our responsibility.
But when you get into government, it doesn't make you less of a politician. You are a politician, you hold an elective office as a minister. You are a politician first.
No, yeah. You know what I want to say? When you're a minister, probably your schedules are not as they are so tight, I would call it, that probably you may not find it right to answer certain calls. Maybe you're in cabinet meeting, you are chairing this meeting, you're chairing.
Sure, but
I can tell you,
out of courtesy,
I can tell you, there are certain government officials and ministers that pick calls. Others will call you after they've knocked off at 19 hours to say, I missed your call, you are calling me, I was in this. I will not mention their names.
As a party member, of course. Mr. Mlenga, let's move on. Let's come to trips. You are talking about government officials being busy. This month they are in Turkey, this month they are in South Africa. Of what economic benefit are these trips, travels of government officials? Let's say some concerns that have been forwarded by some section, a section of society, suggesting that the president also is traveling too much. He was coming from Ethiopia, no, Tanzania. He came from Tanzania. He's now in Kenya. What economic benefits is the country getting from the president's trips through around the region? Tanzania, our neighbors here, he's now in Kenya attending an AU summit. Amid this crisis here in this country, surely, are there no representatives to represent the president at such summits?
Yeah, but really, I know that politics is about perception. And there's a perception that has been portrayed that the president is traveling a lot. But also at the same time...
I'm glad you know it. I'm just speaking on behalf of the people
that
have sent me to come and ask you.
And I'm responding.
Please.
To say there's a perception that has been created. And this perception, so I'm saying, us who are in party functionaries, we need to be responding to some of these things. When the president is traveling, there are certain engagements that are of benefit to this country.
Okay.
Take, for instance, AU. The president is representing this country called Zambia at a very, very important event, which must be supported by all Zambians. If you look at the travel that the president has had, he went to UK. If you ask me, what benefit did it come with? We saw how much money the UK government did put into the alleviation of into poverty. We saw how much money was put into the issue to do with climate change.
Okay.
Many of the trips that the president has undertaken, they've come with a lot of economic benefits. When he went to Angola, there was a trip that was said Angola to Zambia direct flight. All that is bringing in economic benefits. So, what we just need to do is that journalists and our people, we need to be able to investigate.
No, us, we are trying as journalists. I can speak on behalf of my fellow media practitioners. We are trying.
Yes.
But it's your government that is not being responsive to us. They are not giving us information.
Yeah, but really,
let me put this on record.
Yeah, but really, what's happening is that to every trip that the president does undertake, there are benefits that this country is getting. In most cases, I would say 90% of the trip that the president
But why are you,
the
party functionaries and government, why aren't you amplifying the president's travels and the like? This is why some sections of society are saying, why can't he delegate some of these trips to Bamayo Bamtadena Lumango, the vice president, so that she can go. He remains and sorts out the economic challenges this country is facing.
Again, you're talking about systems. If the president doesn't go out for a day, it means that everything 24 hours. That's why there's vice president to work within what.
But she can also be sent to go out.
It's
so that he remains.
Discretion of government. Government does not stop to operate when the president does travel.
At least when he's around, people.
There's nothing of that sort. There's nothing of that sort. One good thing is that when the president travels, it sends a signal about the importance of that travel, and just him being there, it gives out of credence.
The vice president is quite important to me.
Yes, that I agree. That's how important that office is. For instance, talk about debt restructuring. When the president was traveling, you can imagine the president himself having to meet people that we got money from. He is a businessman. He's coming from, he understands economics. There are certain jargons probably that he would be able to put into place.
That way a journalist can't.
Obviously you can't.
Mr. Mlenga, I'm afraid we need to go, but there's a concern from Mr. Levy W. Daka.
Yeah.
He asks a question, and I think it's very important.
Yeah.
Jafet Mwanza also has come through. But as we go, Mr. Daka says, Vamlenga, the president's priority was the milling meal, fuel, and electricity. The records are there. Have you achieved milling meal, fuel, electricity? CDF is not working for everyone. That's his observation, and we need to respect that. Jafet Mwanza comes through and says, you guys, we don't want UPN in 2026. These guys, they will finish us. So, to tell you the truth, it is a family of liars, sorry. Okay, so he's suggesting you're a family of liars.
Yeah,
Mr. Mlenga, and we need to respect these
views
from our viewers.
He's entitled to his opinion, and we respect that. And the very thing that he had put forward of having to make sure that milling is affordable, fuel, electricity.
Those were your priority areas.
Yes.
This is why I took you to pre-2021.
That's what I'm saying.
These were your priority areas, sir.
The dynamics at play to have these things actualized, I think I did try to explain.
Okay.
There were so many factors at play, and we expect our people to bear with us, because this government, I think there is no person who would want to be in leadership to make people suffer. All of us aspire for leadership to help our people get a better life.
Okay.
And as a result of that, this government, they are spending time to find solutions to our problem. The issue of millennium, the FISIP programs, how do we perfect the system that if we have to put money into FISIP, many people will be put on the program and they will have good yield and all that. But probably we didn't have good rains in certain areas of this country. Okay. So that hindered our production in terms of grain production. That will have a ripple effect in terms of demand, because the commodities is, I would say, not on the market in the quantities that we would expect to have. So these are the time that the government is finding itself into.
But are you listening to technocrats?
Yes.
Because the technocrats told you every after 10 years we experience El Nino. Me as a layman, I know that. You, the politicians, surely know that.
When did you start metrology? Don't be like these our viewers who says nikaona makumbi shimvula izalo. But really,
yes,
I wanted to put you on the limelight for you mean and to put your leg. Okay. But anyway, what we are saying is that we feel the pain that our people are feeling as in regards the main important issues they're mentioning. But one good thing is that this government is responding by saying, what do we do? ZNS now is engaging itself into irrigation. Okay. Many hectares of land have been put aside to have winter maize. Okay. All these are measures being put in place to see how our people can have the commodity available and at an affordable price. Job creation. Government says we need to employ our people. Okay. And for the first time in the history of Zambia, that the government is recruiting people in their thousands, tens of thousands, 70,000 people being employed. The youths that really voted for this government. And many more things are being done.
Okay.
But yes, we expect that the cost of living, with this investment that's coming up, where we are being told that there's a manufacturing plant for batteries that is coming on for electric vehicles. These are things that will help us in the nation in the long run. We are seeing mines being opened in Kitwe, in Luansha, and Mufrila, all these areas. So all these will create opportunities for our people. If all these start being operationalized, so to speak, we'll see the ripple down effects to our people getting contracts, people getting jobs and all that. So we are moving in the right direction. I know for sure that people expected a lot, but we are working. So let's see how this remaining period that we have in government, and then our people will have the leverage to come and question us to say, from this that you promised, this is how you fared. And other political parties will as well give their alternatives. But the good thing is that we are in safe hands.
Okay. Mr. Mlenga, let me thank you most sincerely for coming through and obviously for giving us an elaborate explanation as to what is happening behind the scenes and answering to some of our viewers' concerns out there. Thank you so much, sir.
The pleasure is mine.
Okay. So, viewers, there you have it. That was Mr. Martin Mlenga. He comes from NAREP. He is the Secretary General, and NAREP is an alliance partner with the UPND in government. They are in government. Thank you so much to my director, Mr. Elijah Chifita, and also the entire production team. I have been your host, Joe Smarter is my name. We'll see you when you see us. Good afternoon.
Thank you.